For another video. On today's video, I will be going over this article that I'm reading. Well, actually, it's a study, as you can see. NCBI government, right? It is a study of substance abuse among specific population groups and settings. So I found a few interesting things in here. I'm not going to necessarily tell my opinion on this video. I'm just going to read a few things off to you guys, right? So hold on, let me turn my fan off, get a little bit quieter in here. I don't like using my AC. I got a large house, so I'm trying to run an AC. Jeez, it's expensive. But anyways, let's go down. As you can see, it covers different Hispanic, covers different groups of women. But of course, you know, this video, and it is like, you know, as you can see, goes over alcohol, illicit drug use, you know, different things, right? So let's scroll down to African American women. Here we are. There are major differences in cultural identification, income, education, marital status, occupation, and lifestyle between African American women born in the United States and foreign-born women of African descent. While this section focuses primarily on African American women born in the United States, further research is needed to identify intergroup variations in substance abuse etiology and effective treatments. More than 32 million of more than 32 million African Americans live in the United States, including sizable numbers of both African and African Caribbean immigrants. It is a relatively young population. 32% of all African Americans are under age 18. More than half live in a central city within a metropolitan area. African Americans represent 12.3% of the U.S. population, Census Bureau 2001. 19 million, or more than half, of all African Americans are female. Wow, that's a nice number there. So there's 32 million, more than half is 19. So let's say 32 minus 19 is 13. So there's 13 million black men and 19 million black women, according to the 2001 Bureau statistics, right? So that means that there are 6 million more black women than there are black men. How interesting. Among African American women, poverty is more prevalent than in the general population. There's a study right there, Gray and Whitfield, 2002. Among African American single mothers, approximately 35% live in poverty, compared to 19% of non-Hispanic single white mothers. Although genetics account for differential rates of disease among African Americans, sickle cell anemia, biology alone explains very little about the disparities in health status between African Americans and Caucasians. Overall, African Americans have disproportionately higher rates of disease and illness, a wider variety of undetected disease, more chronic health conditions, a shorter life expectancies than Caucasians. African American women experience high morbidity and mortality rates than do Caucasian women for many health conditions. There's a study for that from 2002. Substance use among African Americans. Even though the total substance abuse admission among African Americans has been steadily declining since 1990s, TED reports that 21% of admission to substance abuse and treatment facilities were African American in 2006, in comparison to 12% of non-Hispanic population. The primary source of referral for treatment among African American women was through self-referral or by family and friends. Alcohol. According to TEDS, alcohol accounted for 25% of substance abuse treatment admission among African American women, while most research highlights differences in alcohol use patterns between African American women and men and between African American women and other diverse groups. Little attention is given in reporting on the diversity of use among African American women within their cohort group and throughout their lifespan. In one study comparing differences in alcohol prevalence across age groups, ethnicity, and gender, prevalence rates among African American female from 19 to 29 years of age rose from 2% to 4% between 1992 and 2002. In a study evaluating the correlates of alcohol consumption of African American women, women aged 40 to 49 have shown highest prevalence of alcohol consumption. Rosenberg, et.al. 2002. That's the study for that. Here's illicit drug use. Among African American women, most admissions to treatment facilities were for cocaine, crack abuse, 35% HHS 2008. From the same data set, opioids, primarily heroin, accounted for 18% of substance-related admissions. In a study that focused on severity of alcohol use and crack cocaine, evidence suggests that as the levels of alcohol consumption increases among African American women, the severity of symptoms associated with comorbid mental disorders, sexual risk behaviors, and consumption of crack cocaine increased significantly. Among African Americans identified as individuals who use crack cocaine, more than 70% reported concerns regarding food, clothing, and transportation, and approximately 50% reported problems associated with shelter, medical issues, and employment. With less adequate housing, financial resources, medical care, and higher cumulative stress, African American women face an increasing susceptibility to substance use disorders and that's why I'll leave this one. Let you guys let me know what you think about this little study that I'm reading here. Like I said, I'll start going over the things that I read and come across. I find these things very interesting. I've already read the Hispanic version of this, and I'm going down the line. I just thought that I might share this with you guys. Just a little quick video, nothing crazy. But we're welcome to leave your comments on this video. Let me know what you think, because I'm starting to see a trend here. And though this is a study from almost 20 years ago, for the most part, I think these things are increasing. I see this more and more often. Substance abuse being linked with constant psychosis and chronic psychosis, and illicit drug use being the gateway drug, alcohol being the great gateway drug to more illicit drug use, thus increasing the number or severity of psychosis. That's just my opinion. I'm not a doctor, but these are the things that I am seeing, real life. But anyways, like, comment, and share. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Patreon. But until next time, this has been the Wolf in Better Clothes. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.